Hey there, Kyle Souza here. I want to talk about this 100-page comic giant for Justice League of America. So, this is one of the Walmart 100-page comics, and this one, unlike the Batman Flash, the single hero storylines, mixes stories where either multiple heroes are present or single hero stories, but from multiple stories in a single book. And this one only contains four stories, and I don't think that any of them are actually new stories. Um, it is possible that the Wonder Woman story in here is new, but I know that the Justice League, Flash, and Aquaman one are not. So it does start out with the Wonder Woman story, titled The Conversion. In a country torn apart by conflict, Wonder Woman comes face to face with Ares, god of war, who sees her as a promising new recruit. So this is a fun story to start with, where her and Steve Trevor are rescuing some women in Bialia, yeah, Bialia, on their way to a humanitarian conference, summit of sorts. And Wonder Woman, of course, is in full form, very impressive. And Trevor's like, "Did I mention she's my girlfriend?" He's just so excited about that. I thought it was fun, but she does encounter Ares, right? Because all the Greek gods, she knows them, and I think it's a great reminder here. It mentions Heracles, which is the Greek form of Hercules, that most people are more familiar with Hercules rather than Heracles. So I think it was good writing. I think it was a good story up until the end. I thought the end was a little anticlimactic. It is meant to be a peaceful story, and it does make that point, but I think that the ending was just a little weak, in my opinion. But aside from that, a good story and a good point to the story. Next, we got Justice League Origin Part 1. Batman discovers an evil so powerful that he must form a new team of heroes to fight it. Okay, now this is probably the best story in the book. It might also be the longest. Let me check the page counts there. Yes, it is the longest. It is very familiar. If anybody's seen not the Justice League movie that went to theaters, and the Snyder Cut's coming out, but the animated film where Batman and Green Lantern in particular start talking to each other, and Green Lantern realizes that Batman is just a guy, basically, and he thinks that's crazy. It's This is the comic that story is based on. So you have heroes that aren't really recognized as heroes yet. Batman being chased by the police as he's trying to track down a parademon who's on Earth planting bombs to bring Doomsday here through the boom tube. You've got Green Lantern showing off his skills, basically Hal Jordan being a jerk, saying, "I'm the best, look at this." And this part of the story, because this story does continue on, spoiler alert, ends with Superman about to fight Batman after having bested Green Lantern. In between that, we do get Vic Stone in here, who becomes Cyborg, and we do get some good development on him and his relationship or lack thereof with his father. So I think overall this one's a good story, and I do really enjoy the interaction between Batman and Green Lantern in this story. Then we have The Flash, Move Forward Part 1. How can even the fastest man alive take on a foe who could be everywhere at once? So if you have read the New 52 Flash, you've probably seen this storyline. Basically, Flash saves, he's on a date with someone who's not Iris, and he saves the place where they're at from a terrorist attack, and he runs into an old friend of his who turns out to be the victim, and again, spoiler alert, also turns out to be the villain, and also turns out to be a lot of people. And so when you get into the story, you'll see how the mystery behind Barry Allen's friend Manuel Lago Dubins as Barry investigates his kidnapping at the hands of mob rule. So it's that storyline. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite storyline, but it does have some good artwork in this series here, because it is Francis Manapul who does the art, and I really like his artwork, especially when he's using the lighter colors around the Flash. And then the book ends with Aquaman, The Trench, Part 1. After renouncing his throne, the former king of Atlantis faces a new and terrifying threat. This one's a good story. Okay, that Aquaman story is a good story. Aquaman is a very underrated character, especially as he exists now in continuity. They do make fun of his past in here. There's even a blogger trying to interview him, asking him what it's like to be the butt of all the jokes on Saturday Night Live when it comes to superheroes. That kind of thing. So they don't shy away from that, but Aquaman very much is a legitimate hero here. He's showing that he's bulletproof like Superman. He's strong. He's fearless. He's also kind. He tips a waitress 2 gold doubloons, right? So he's got more dynamic character in this book and this part of the story going forward than he had in a lot of the past. And this story, this Aquaman the Trench story, it's one of a really cool storyline with creatures that are coming up from below the ocean floor. They start attacking the surface world, and he's there to defend them. I said spoiler alert before. That's for the whole video. Anyways, good story for a good hero. I'm glad they did it. For $5, I think it was worth it. So if you get a chance to pick up some books like this and you haven't read those stories before, it might be a good way to get into them. I'm Kyle Souza. My blog is thetalkinggeek.com. Please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, etc. Enjoy.